So I just realized that there was a block with finally finishing my book because I'm not famous yet. And when I say famous, I literally mean like a handful of like thousands of followers, subscribers across platforms, or at least YouTube. Yeah, I guess YouTube is kind of my main and only thing that I put a lot of effort and energy into. But I didn't, I'm just realizing this in real time. So I kind of wanted to talk about it because it felt really interesting to sort of work through. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to have a conversation around this realization of this block. So, a little bit about me and my writing history. I used to do a lot of poetry when I was younger and early 20s and stuff, spoken word, all that. I loved poetry. Honestly, I feel like poetry kind of left me whenever I became happier. But it was just part of my process, part of like learning creativity in a new phase of my life and uh, discovering my creativity through joy and not suffering. But anyway, I felt a big identity shift when poetry sort of left me in that way. And then a few years back from now, a few years after that, a few years ago, I started just writing stories like fantasy, romantasy, like all of that kind of stuff. I got really inspired. And I actually have written a book that I will probably never publish. I don't even know if I'll reread it. I was actually talking to some girlfriends last night about it, and it was just, I might revisit it because I was explaining kind of the concept of that to them, but we were talking about how no idea is really original. And I was like, that's kind of how I felt about my first book, was that it was just like a copy and paste of all the things I liked in books I was reading. And but like so many people do that anyway. I don't know. But we were talking about that. But anyway, when this book idea came, like a few years after that, or a year or so, I knew that this idea was my debut novel when it came into. I was like, this is what I want to stamp the beginning of my like author career into the world. Like this is something I could see other people reading and all that stuff. I love this concept. I love these ideas. I don't like I I would say it's the most unique that I have come up with, and everyone I mention it to or talk to about it, um, even just the genres that I'm using and combining, they're like, I've never heard that before. I've never thought of that before. I haven't seen that anywhere before. So, in a lot of ways, it does feel very unique, and I'm really excited about it, and I feel so deeply for it, and I love the vibes, and I love the story, and I've just loved the process of it. And it's genuinely been years. Like, I wrote about 10K words in first person before I realized that it needed to be close third person. And I decided to scratch everything and rewrite all those words. And I'm glad it was still relatively early on in the process. And then I think I had gotten the book last April up to like 14 or 16K. I can't remember what I restarted at. But last November, I picked it up at like the 16K and wrote from there to now, which is a little over 70K. And I am feeling really good about it, and I'm feeling really excited about it. But what has recently come up is that I think there's a lot of messaging and language that your launch, your first book launch, is like make or break it for your entire career. And I think there was some truth to that in the past. And it's just what you see in media. It's how being an author is portrayed. It's stories of that, like you have your closet of your book at like full because it didn't sell and no one ever signed you again and all this stuff. And like that's just not the reality that we live in anymore in terms of traditional publishing. Like it might be the reality of traditional publishing, but you can self-publish now or go more indie publish, like working with small publishers, and like you can get your story out there no matter what now. And like nothing can really stop you from that anymore. So I realized just recently that, like literally yesterday, it kind of came into my field that I almost feel this delay of wanting to finish it because I don't have the numbers for the launch that I imagine in my head or want, because I'm putting so much pressure on like the launch of it, or the like it's almost saying like this launch is the make or break. Like if the launch doesn't do successful, then I'll never be a successful author. And that's just, again, not the reality we live in anymore, especially with social media. Some books get picked up years later by the masses, and some people, don't start series until the series is complete. Some people, yeah, it's just that one hit, like maybe, I don't know. And I think there's a part of it that I see this book so clearly as a movie, and have this like, if it doesn't do well at the very beginning at the launch or whatever, because I haven't done my marketing for, or like whatever, then it's going to like never be a movie. And that's a really big dream of mine. And I don't know, like, I literally have no idea what that world is like and what even the realities of that is like. But I would love to go through the process and see what that's like and just have that be an option. It's like, yeah, I think I'm putting so much pressure on there being options for this very first book. And the thing that I'm realizing is like, not a lot of, like, some people can have really good debut hits and all this stuff, but sometimes maybe like someone's fifth book does really, really well. And then people go back and read the rest of their catalog or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking like Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know what number Eat, Pray, Love was, but it was like not her first book. And imagine she wouldn't have been able to write that book without writing the other books before it. And I'm sure that just boosted her career in those too. But imagine if she was like, yeah, I'm not going to write these until I'm famous enough to write something like the success of Eat, Pray, Love. So, and it's honestly like really getting down to the intention of the story and what I actually want to be sharing. And it really like wanting it to do well and like have the audience to sell it to comes from this place of like really wanting to be seen and wanting the story to be out there and wanting people to understand it and enjoy it and all this stuff. Like it all looks positive, but yet the block of it is blocking me from finishing it. And I mean, so much of it is that I do have lots of planets, heavy planets in my career house. Like that is jammed packed with things. So I can just see why there's this energy of like, oh, I just really want this aspect of my career to do really well and be really seen and all this effort to get, but I think it is really pedestalizing the importance of the very first one and not looking at the bigger picture of like, okay, what if you want to write 50 books in your lifetime and you can't even get over the first, because you're waiting for the success of the 50th or whatever. And that's just not like, it's not how I approach a lot of my creativity, which is why I think the realization of this block kind of hit me like a truck, was just like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing this, because with things like YouTube and things like, well, yeah, YouTube is my main creative passion right now. I just don't really think about that, and I don't think like, oh, this video has to do really well. I'm just like, I'll just have another video. Like one of them's gonna hit. I don't. And yes, it's a little different because books take so much more effort than making a video, and so much more time, and so like you really do have to figure out marketing and figure out um all this stuff for it and give it an honest chance. But that's the thing, is like with YouTube and stuff, everything that I create is just giving myself more opportunities to be seen and put myself out there, and for the right people to find me, and for my people to find me, and for me to find myself, and me to discover my truth. And so I'm just opening the like landing pad for that. Like the landing pad to all of those things is getting bigger and bigger with each video that I post and create and see myself in. And the same thing is going to happen with writing, and it's going to be such a different process because writing is different than creating a YouTube video. And that's okay. And I just need to figure out how I actually process this style of creativity, the type of creativity that does take years alone and in your head and your thoughts to come up with, and to, I guess, mature in concept for you to actually get out. And then you start the process of having beta readers and having editors and talking to publisher, like getting signed, and then you're marketing, and then you're learning the aspect of marketing something. But whenever you feel it from your whole chest, marketing isn't that hard. Marketing is just an opportunity for people to land in your world and get your book. And hopefully they like it, or like, it actually doesn't matter if they like it or not. It is what it is, because you wrote it and you did your best effort. And I love this world so much, so it's almost like I just really want to do it a lot of justice. And I think that's what it is like, I want to be good enough for the story, because I want the story to be seen. And so much of that like heavy career house planet, like whatever, wants the story to be seen and wants me to be good enough. But the muse of the story already knows I'm good enough, because it chose me to be the vessel. It knows I'm the right person to bring it into fruition, and we're co-creating by learning these things. Like, I get to learn that I'm good enough, and it gets to exist through my brain and my perspective and my like thought, like, yeah, my lens, really. It's I don't know, it's so interesting, and it chose me to do that co-creation with, because it really does feel like it takes over sometimes, and characters surprise you and concepts surprise you, and it's just such a fun thing. And I can't let the insecurity that I'm not good enough yet get in the way of actually finishing it and getting it out into the world. And if you have a project like this, I think this is me sharing that these things can still come up even if you're someone who, I don't know. I just didn't even think that this was in my field of subconscious thinking. Like this was a belief going like if I wait long enough, if I work on this long enough, like maybe by the time I'm ready, I'll have a platform that I can sell to, you know? And that's not actually going to get me anywhere than just doing it, you know? And then once it exists, it's, yeah, I guess it's like, it's not that it's over. Once it exists, once it launches, I can then literally spend the rest of my life learning how to pitch it and market it and make it into a movie. Like I still have so much time. It's not this you've got your launch, that's going to be the biggest day of your career and then it's over. Like that's just again not the reality of writing a book anymore. And all this stuff. And so yeah, just working this out kind of in real time is really interesting because I wouldn't think that I thought these things. And now that I'm unpacking them, I'm like, oh, I get why there's this deep desire to finish it, but deep like fear and clenching in my stomach of like, you're not good enough to release it yet. You're not big enough to release it yet. It has to do well. It only has one shot. And that's just giving the launch like way too much importance and giving me not enough credit in knowing that once it exists, I'm going to fucking sell it with everything I've got, you know? And it could take time and it could just take the right person really loving it and recommending it on social media platforms that I'm not even on. Who knows? Like it's just get it out. It needs to exist. And if the first one doesn't exist, I can't write my second book. I can't write my third. I can't continue on. I mean, it's kind of in that way, it's a little bit like YouTube. Like I can't make my 200th video if I haven't made my 100th and 99th video. Like you can't just zoom to who you think you're going to be at these big mile markers of your output until you just actually put in the reps and you actually just keep showing up, and you're going to get so much better the more and more you show up. And I just also know that through the process of beta readers and editing, like the story's going to morph and become better and better for a consumer because it's all in my head. I can't really perceive it the way somebody else would because I live it and know it and breathe it. So that in itself is going to be such an interesting experience because it's co-creating with others to like bring it into life in the way that I want it to come across. And so having really good editors and having really good people. My dog wanted to join us, so I just got her. So I can't quite remember what I was saying, but basically, like, yeah, it's going to all come together. Like, that's the whole editing and like, it actually coming into life is going to be a completely different process of the creative journey that I haven't experienced yet. And I think that could be part of it too, is like, I know how to write. I know like the process of writing. I know showing up to the page. I know like all that stuff. I don't know past that. Um, I haven't done that part. So the brain really likes to scare you from, or the it doesn't like to scare you. It actually likes to protect you. So it's protecting you from the uncertainty of not knowing what's next by delaying the end this process, because what happens when I write the end and I'm ready for the next steps, you know? And it's going to be different. Like, it's like once you do it, You know it, like, it's going to be different for the second book. It's going to be different for the third book and all that stuff. But it's just subconsciously scary because it's unknown. And your brain really doesn't know how to process the unknown in a way unless you have immense amounts of self-trust. And I truly and honestly, guys, think I've just dipped my toe into the surface of self-trust for the first time since March. Like, I feel like March was really the first time I started committing heavily to things that actually move the needle in my life, such as doing my 30-day like Substack writing daily challenge. And it was just writing block after block, like finding all these blocks of like moving the needle forward into my big creative dreams. It would literally be kind of like this. Like, I would just be like, oh my gosh, I really want to do YouTube, but I don't understand, like, block. Oh, like really big realizations, and realizing that I didn't have a lot of self-trust in my life. And that's kind of why the kitchen sink series was born, was because I just needed to start somewhere. And I started with the dishes, and I created audios for other people to listen to while they were doing daily dishes. And the daily dishes were part of the gaining self-trust, that you can keep your space clean and you don't have to be messy and chaotic all the time. Um, but anyway, that started my self-trust journey, and it basically revealed to me how little self-trust I had in myself, because I was just such a big dreamer. I mean, I'm still such a big dreamer, but I was such a big dreamer with nowhere to go. And I think that was the most frustrating for my little Pisces like heart, was just like, oh, I just feel like I can see really completed pictures of things and really, but like I can't. I struggled so much with action, and I don't really struggle with action anymore. And now it's really just aligning that action to the big dream and like finding how it all threads together. And that's kind of what I'm doing with the book, is like getting to that point where I'm realizing the self-trust of the uncertain part isn't there yet, because I don't know how to be with myself if I get rejected for a book. Like, I know how to do it in other contexts, but it's really basically you witnessing yourself failing over and over again until someone picks it up and someone believes in you. And so I think my brain is scared of that process, but another part of my brain is like, you're learning this so deeply. You're learning how to like build all this self-trust. You're doing such a good job. You've proven to yourself so many different things. You did the Substack challenge, you've done the YouTube challenge. You've made so much progress in exactly what you need for this next phase. And this next phase is the new break of the comfort zone. Like, there's always going to be more to discover about yourself. There's always going to be more to realize that oh, it's just a floating spider. It kind of tripped me out. There's always going to be more to discover about yourself, and like witness yourself becoming someone new, someone who can pitch their book to publishers, someone who can take beta reader criticism without like it piercing into their heart and soul, and just neutralizing it and being like, oh yeah, I can change that and clarify that. Really, all a reader is trying to do is clarify things. And I don't think anyone will be like mean. I mean, if they are, that's them going through something on their end, nothing to do with me or my book. But, it would just be new to like hear that and witness myself like experience that, basically. So yeah, I'm just realizing like all these little blocks that are coming up of like, oh, I'm entering uncertainty. I don't know what self trust looks like in this phase of the creative process for something I care a lot about. Um, I have to believe that I am good enough to get this story out, no matter what my following looks like, no matter what my marketing looks like. Now, I have to just trust that I'm going to figure that out when I need to figure it out. And I don't need to think 10 steps ahead of that at this moment. This moment, I just need to finish my fucking book. I just need to finish my book. And I'm on the path and I'm doing it. Like it's back in my sphere, it's back in my daily rhythm now. So just getting to that and going ham and finishing this last leg and not being scared of what's next, and knowing that finishing this will just propel me naturally into what's next, and like the timeline will be perfect, and it'll all work out is what I have to trust, and what I am realizing. So I hope this was helpful. If there's a really big project or thing that you're working on, or block you're feeling, or like delay of like, I really love this thing, why am I butting up against it? And like, I know no matter what I'm gonna write, like I have books and stories I probably won't ever publish, and I love just who I am when I write and all that stuff. But whenever you are thinking about, okay, I want to release this, different energies enter, different collaborations enter into your sphere, and you just have to trust that you're still the capable vessel that needs to bring that story into the world. And that you will continue finding the next step and catching yourself at every turn and trusting yourself enough to do the dang thing. So that was my own personal pep talk. That was hopefully helpful as a little pep talk for you too, if there's a book you're writing or a big project like that. So I'm Felicia, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.